Hello YouTube, Brian Tubbs coming at you with another video. This is going to be a quick video today. So what I'm working on is another sculpture. Let me see. This is a new style base I came up with, and this is the sculpture. We call it either waves or swoosh, like a Nike swoosh, that type of swoosh. And it sits on, I'm not sure how well you guys can see this, but it sits on the base, sort of like, kind of like this. I have this base extending out on the back side, just kind of following this line, and then I have it has a little concave area here, just kind of play off of this line up here. Something new, haven't done it before. We've made this sculpture before, but we have never made this sculpture quite this large, nor where it tapers on the back is normally the same width all the way around. But we tapered this one and kind of just give it something different to look at. I haven't made this sculpture in a few years, but my wife just asked if we could go ahead and make another one because we haven't made it in so long. So as I was out here making it, I just made it a little bit larger, and then I came with the idea of having it taper like it is now. And so today is not really about, well, it's about this sculpture, but I'm not going to be like making a sculpture or whatever, or welding it or anything like that. Today is me talking about whether you can use Bondo or body filler on a sculpture. And my answer to that is yes, you can. Because with this metal that I bought from the metal store, this is just mild steel. I just took all the mill scale off. Once I took the mill scale off, it had a lot of little pits in it. It's like somebody took a hammer and just pinging it with a hammer. But by that time, I had already made everything. Everything was already welded up and all that kind of stuff. And so after that, I decided to take all the mill scale off. And when I was cutting the extra metal away from here, because of how difficult these lines are, my grinder was kind of digging into the sides of the metal a little bit. The metal portion of there's a little nut that holds the grinding pad on. That nut was kind of scraping the metal as well. So I had grinder scrapes, and I had the pits when I took the mill scale off. And so I could either have taken my grinder and kind of trying to smooth it down, but in a case like that, you could put more pits in it just from your grinder being on an angle, your grinding wheel or your grinding disc. So what I decided to do, I've done this before, is to take some Bondo. Just take some Bondo, which is your automotive body filler. And I generally, when I was working on the classic Mustang, I wasn't using this. I was using, I think it's Everlast. I think it was. There was a top of the line body filler that I was using. The name slips me right now, but I'll just put a picture up of it in the video just so you can see it. But that body filler, the more expensive stuff, is really not necessary for when you're doing, sculptures like this. So you can go to Walmart or one of the box stores and just get the Bondo. And what you do, let me see. What you do is you take enough Bondo out of here, lay it on some cardboard or a piece of plastic or something like that. And say you have I don't know, a 5-inch diameter circle of Bondo laying out like a pancake. You would take the hardener and just squirt one little line right across the center of that 5-inch or 4-inch, whatever it is, little circle that you've laid out with this on the cardboard. So you take one line of this, squirt it right across there, put the cap on, take your spreader, and just kind of mix the Bondo up. This Bondo comes out in like a really light gray, almost white. Their hardener comes out in blue. So once you mix the two together, you'll get kind of like a olive green color. You sort of mix them up together pretty good, but do it pretty fast because this stuff hardens pretty fast. And then once you get it all mixed up, so once it's all mixed up, you take your spreader, take some of the Bondo on it, and then just wipe it on your sculpture, putting pressure on it. Just wiping it on. You get some more, wipe it on as you're putting pressure on it. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to press the body filler into all the little divots and scratches and everything else that you have. You do it on both sides, of course. If you have scratches on both sides, you'll let it sit, whatever the manufacturer's instructions say, however long to let it sit, whether it's 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it says, you let it sit that long. And then after that, I got my sander, my air sander, and I'm using this is 40 grit. You don't have to go with 40, but I went with 40 just kind of knock it down faster. They stick on to this guy, and what you do, if my sculpture was laying down, I would just take this guy and just start going over, keeping this as flat as I possibly can, because I don't want to dig in on some angle. I want to keep it as flat as I possibly can. Let me just give you a quick demonstration. Be real quick. So I would take this, and if this still had all the Bondo on it, I would just take this and just go back and forth lightly. I would put some pressure on it, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on it because I'm not trying to dig in. And after I go with a 40 pad, if I needed to, I can get like a 60 or 80, and then I can go 120 and 120, and then I can go at a 320 or 400 to knock it really smooth. But I really don't need to do that in this case. Another tool I have, it's a straight sander. I have this one. I have an air straight sander too. I can hook up to my compressor, and this blade moves back and forth on its own. I don't have to be standing there doing this all day. I'll just be holding it, and the sandpaper on my air compressor one, a pneumatic one, will be going back and forth on its own. So I'm just really just holding it and guiding it. So I have that type as well. So you can take that, use that on it. I also have an electric orbital sander, which does basically the same thing as the one you just saw me use. You just don't need an air compressor. It's just electric. So you can buy one of these as well to do this type of work. You just lay it on there, turn it on, and just go back and forth like that. So those are the types of sanders that you can use to kind of smooth it out. But what you want to see when you get done, you still want to see some filler in your divots. You don't want to take all the filler off. You just want to take enough off to get everything smooth. Then let me just kind of talk about these spreaders. You can buy the spreaders at Walmart or O'Reilly's or pretty much any store. These are the spreaders I was using to put the Bondo on. They come in three in a pack. Just take one out, whatever size you think you will need to spread the body filler or Bondo. I say Bondo because most people know that name, Bondo. Spread it on there really lightly. Just a really thin coat. You don't put it on thick because it'll take you forever to get it off. Just put it on really thin. So you don't put some pressure on it. Just get it on there as smooth as you can. But these are the spreaders. And then after I've done all of that, if I still have some pinholes, I will get what's called a glazing putty. Now this came out of this pack, but when I was squeezing it out, I kind of busted it on the bottom. I had some of the putty coming out of the bottom of the tube as well. So I just put it in this bag. But you can get this at Walmart or O'Reilly's. But at O'Reilly's, it's $13. At Walmart, I paid $4.98, I think it was. Same product, exact same product. Everything was the same. Same brand, the same part number, everything. But O'Reilly's was, like I said, $13. Walmart had it for $4.98, somewhere in there. So, and I also went to Walmart to get the Bondo, because I know at O'Reilly's it would have been twice the price. I think I paid like $13 for this can of Bondo. But O'Reilly's probably would have been, I don't know, 20-some dollars probably. And then another thing, if you don't want to use the Bondo and your divots and whatnot are not that deep, you can use what's called a filler primer. Now, filler primer, it goes on somewhat thick. You spray it on just like you would just your regular primer. You let it sit up for whatever the manufacturers say, and then you just take your sander and just lightly sand it, if necessary. But if you see that all your divots and pits are filled, I wouldn't worry about it. You maybe just take some like 120 or something, just lightly sand it, just gently sand it, just so your paints and your paint will stick. But this is it's a primer filler. That's what it is. It's a high build. It's called high build. When I was working on the Mustang, I used a high build, but I was using a spray gun, and the compressor. But it's the same concept. You spray it on, let it sit. You start sanding it, and then if you think there might be still some divots and whatnot, we would get it was a coating. I can't remember the name of it, but you would spray it on there, and it would go on kind of like black, and that lets you see that there were still some divots. And then you take your sanders and sand that down, and if you saw like gray under that, there's still some divots. And then you would take your body filler and go back over it, or you'll just use your glazing putty, either one. You can use this for like pinholes, little scratches and stuff like that. So that's pretty much, guys, what I want to talk about in this video. Yes, you can use body filler on your sculptures, because what I often tell people is that when they do something like this and they see like little divots or pits or scratches and whatnot, they think that when they paint it, the paint is going to hide everything. But no, what the paint is going to do is reveal everything. Especially when you go with like darker colors, everything is going to show up. Your pinholes, your divots, your pits, all that's going to show up. So it's better to just take precaution and just use body filler or whatever you need to use. Or if you want to grind it, you can do that, but you're taking a chance on putting more divots and pits in it with that grinding disc. So, all right, guys, so that's going to just do it for this one. And as I said before, you can use body filler, high build primers, or as they call them, filler primers, on your pieces just to get them smooth. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. And as usual, peace out.